Bhagavatam Bhutto Jayam Buddhirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta Preshvabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamash Loke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. By regular attendance and classes on the Bhagavatam, and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and by the service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. This morning we're reading from 15th chapter of the 3rd canto, texts 11 through 25. This is after hearing the prayers of the demigods, an appreciation of the Lord's saving of the universe. Now we'll read, continue with the story with Maitreya speaking. Okay, we ready? So we'll read ladies' side first, men's side. One verse at a time, please. We have 14 verses here to cover. 11, yeah, there you go.
Sri Maitreya said, thus Lord Brahma, who is understood by transcendental vibration, tried to satisfy the demigods, being pleased with their words of prayer.
Lord Brahma said, my 4 sons, Sanak, Sanatan, Sanandana, and Sanat Kumar, were born from my mind are your predecessors. Sometimes they travel throughout the material and spiritual skies without any definite desire.
After thus traveling all over the universes, they also entered into the spiritual sky, where they were freed from all material contamination. In the spiritual sky, there are spiritual planets known as Vaikunthas, which are the residents of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his pure devotees, and are worshipped by the residents of all the material planets.
Speaking of pure devotees who are worshipped by residents of the material planets, isn't it nice to have Radhika and Nitai back? As well as Brihat and Bruce. Excuse me. Go ahead.
In the Vaikuntha planets, all the residents are similar in form to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They all engage in devotional service to the Lord without desires for sense gratification.
In the Vaikuntha planets is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the original person and who can be understood through the Vedic literature. He is full of the uncontaminated mode of goodness, with no place for passion or ignorance. He contributes religious progress for the devotees.
In those Vaikuntha planets, there are many forests which are very auspicious. In those forests, the trees are desired trees, and in all seasons they're filled with flowers and fruits, because everything in the Vaikuntha planets is spiritual and personal.
In the Vaikuntha planets, the inhabitants fly on their airplanes, accompanied by their wives and consorts, and eternally sing of the character and activities of the Lord, which are always devoid of all inauspicious qualities. While singing the glories of the Lord, they deride even the presence of the blossoming Madhavi flowers, which are fragrant and laden with honey.
When the king of the bees hums in a high pitch, singing the glories of the Lord, there is a temporary lull in the noise of the pitch, the cuckoo, the crane, and the chakravaka. Chakravaka, the swan, the parrot, the partridge, and the peacock. Such transcendental birds stop their own singing simply to hear the glories.
Although flowering plants like the Mandara, Kunda, Kurvaka, Utpala, Champak, Arna, Punaga, Naga, Keshara, Vakula, Lily, and Parijata are full of transcendental fragrance, they are still conscious of the austerities performed by Tulasi. For Tulasi is given special preference by the Lord, who garlands himself with Tulasi leaves.
I'm going to just read this purport quickly. The importance of Tulsi leaves is very clearly mentioned here. Tulsi plants and their leaves are very important in devotional service. Devotees are recommended to water the Tulsi tree every day and collect the leaves to worship the Lord. One time an atheistic Swami remarked, "What is the use of watering the Tulsi plant? It is better to water eggplant. By watering the eggplant, one gets some fruits. But what is the use of watering the tulsi? These foolish creatures, unacquainted with devotional service, sometimes play havoc with the education of the people in general. The most important thing about the spiritual world is that there is no envy among the devotees there. This is true even among the flowers, which are all conscious of the greatness of Tulsi. In the Vaikuntha world, entered by the four Kumaras, even the birds and flowers are conscious of service to the Lord. Next, please.
The inhabitants of Vaikuntha travel in their airplanes made of lapis lazuli, emerald, and gold. Although crowded by their consorts who have large hips and beautiful smiling faces, they cannot be stimulated to passion by their mirth and beautiful charms.
The ladies in the Vaikuntha planets are as beautiful as the goddess of fortune herself. Such transcendently beautiful ladies, their hands playing with lotuses and their leg bangles twinkling, are sometimes seen sweeping the marble walls, which are bedecked at intervals with golden borders, in order to receive the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
The goddess of fortune worships the Lord in their own gardens by offering tulasi leaves on the coral paved veins of the transcendental reservoir of water. While offering the worship to the Lord, they can see on the water the reflection of their beautiful faces, with raised noses, and it appears that they have become more beautiful because of the Lord's assistance.
It is very much regrettable that unfortunate people do not discuss the description of the Vaikuntha planets, but engage in topics which are unworthy to hear and which will bewilder one's intelligence. Those who give up the topics of Vaikuntha and take to talk of the material world are thrown into the darkness region of ignorance.
Lord Brahma said, "My dear demigods, the human form of life is of such importance that we also desire to have such life. For in the human form, one can attain perfect religious truth and knowledge. If one in this human form of life does not understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his abode, it is to be understood that he is very much affected by the influence of external nature."
Okay, and then this is our verse for in-depth study today, number 25. Yajcha vrajantya nimisham rishabhanuvritya. Dure yama yuparinat shrihaniya shila. Bhartur mita suyashasha katananuraga. Vaiklavya Basva Kalaya Pulaki Kritanga. Yachcha Vrajantya Nimisham Rishipanuvritya. Gure Yama Huparina Sprihaniya Shila. Artur Mita Surashasha Katananuraga. Vaiklavya Bashpa Kalaya Pulaki Kritanga. Dure Yama Parina Sprihanila Shila. Vartur Mita Suyashasha Katunanuraga. Vaiklavya Vashvakalaya Pulaki Anga. Yachcha Vrajantyani Nisham Rishivanu Vidya. Dure Yamahi Parinas Prihanira Shila. Bhartur Mitashu Yashasha Katananuraga. Vaiklavya Vashvakalaya Pulaki Pitangaha.
Yacha Vrajantya Nisham Rishabhanuvritya.
Yachcha Vrajantya Nimisham Vishvanu Vritya. Dure Yamahi Parinas Prihanila Shila. Bhartur Mitashu Shaisha Katunanuraga. Vaiklavya Vashvakalaya Pulaki Kritanga. Okay, I just have to share that I was telling me about Los Angeles Temple yesterday. Most temples in ISKCON, if you're not aware, the men chant first and then the ladies chant first. We're chanting the verses, right? Almost everywhere. But we don't do that at Krishna House because we have Samadarshana. We have equal vision, right? So Kameshi, one of our graduates, visiting Los Angeles, much to the chagrin of the management there when they're chanting the verse. One of the Prabhus chanted, and then she chanted. And everyone was, what? So don't mess with Kameshi.
They didn't stop her.
Couldn't think fast enough. Right? Too stunned. Okay, synonyms, please. Yat Vaikunta Cha and Vrajanti go Animisham of the demigods, Rishabha, chief, Anuvritya, following in the footsteps, Dure, keeping at a distance, Yama, regulative principles, Usually, Upari, above, Naha, us, Brahmaniya, to be desired, Shila, good qualities, Vartu, of the Supreme Lord, Mita, for one another, Susai, glories, Katana, by discussions, discourses, Anuraga, attraction, by Klavya, ecstasy, Bashva Kalaya, tears in the eyes, Tulaki Krita, shivering, Angaha, bodies. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Together, please. Persons whose bodily features change in ecstasy and who breathe heavily and perspire due to hearing the glories of the Lord are promoted to the kingdom of God, even though they do not care for meditation and other austerities. The kingdom of God is above the material universes, and it is desired by Brahma and other demigods. Who would like to start the purport? Bruce?
Purport. It is clearly stated herein that the kingdom of God is above the material universes. Just as there are many hundreds of thousands of higher planets above this earth, so there are many millions and billions of spiritual planets belonging to the spiritual sky. Brahmaji states herein that the spiritual kingdom is above the kingdom of the demigods. One can enter the kingdom of the Supreme Lord only when one is highly developed in desirable qualities. All good qualities develop in the person of a devotee. It is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, 18th chapter, verse 12, that anyone who is Krishna conscious is endowed with all the good qualities of the demigods. In the material worlds, the qualities of the demigods are highly appreciated, just as even in our experience, the qualities of a gentleman are more highly appreciated than the qualities of a man in ignorance, or in a lower condition of life. The qualities of the demigods in the higher planets are far superior to the qualities of the inhabitants of this earth. Ramaji confirms herewith that only persons who have developed the desirable qualities can enter into the kingdom of God. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the devotees' desirable qualities are described to be 26 in number. They are stated as follows.
Before we read them, I just wanted to excuse me, discuss this aspiration we have to acquire good qualities. What is the difference between Krishna consciousness and ordinary consciousness? We're thinking of Krishna as opposed to ourselves, right? So self-consciousness and Krishna consciousness are really two ends of the spectrum. And the verse that's referred to here, yes, Bhaktir Bhagavati Kinchana, from the 5th canto, it says that all the good qualities that a person might possess manifest in the life of one who wants to serve Krishna. Typically, we think about, as we're hearing about the qualities, okay, I have to work and develop these qualities. But what the Bhagavatam is teaching us is that no, they develop automatically if our purpose is serving Krishna. Generally, people want to develop good qualities in order to be respected and admired and successful. But the whole point is to set those aspirations aside and just aspire to serve Krishna. And when we want to serve Krishna so much that nothing else matters, these qualities manifest. Bodily features change in ecstasy, breathe heavily and perspire due to hearing the glories of the Lord. What is it? Mahaprabhu Kirtanya Nitya Gita. Vadi Tramadya Manasora Sena. Romancha Kampas Vitarantivasha. So, what to speak of good qualities, ecstatic qualities develop. The good qualities are a byproduct, but the qualities of ecstasy are what we aspire for. When the Gators score a touchdown, the ecstasy is so prevalent in a home game that you can actually feel the earth trembling here. Has anyone experienced that? You can actually. So this is the material ecstasy that people aspire for. They pay $90 or $150 to go sit in an uncomfortable seat surrounded by other people swilling beer, and that's costing $20 a cup, and risking the whole afternoon and maybe their whole week on whether or not the team wins. Madhava Prabhu used to tell me when he'd go into work at the university, if the team won, everyone's in a good mood. If the team won, everyone was, the team lost, everybody was depressed. So the material ecstasy is there, but spiritual ecstasy is avyayam. It is unending. And shishukam kartum avyayam. It is not only ecstasy, but it is ecstasy on steroids, sushukam. So the end result of a life lived trying to please Krishna is that these symptoms begin to manifest. And in the course of that, these good qualities develop. So as we're reading them, please think about these are things not to aspire for, but just that will come as a byproduct for those who try to please Krishna. Okay. So please continue.
They are stated as follows. He is very kind. He does not quarrel with anyone. He accepts Krishna consciousness as the highest goal of life. He is equal to everyone. No one can find fault in his character. He is magnanimous, mild, and always clean, internally and externally. He does not profess to possess anything in this material world. He is a benefactor to all living entities. He is peaceful and is a soul completely surrendered to Krishna. He has no material desire to fulfill. He is meek and humble, always steady, and has conquered the sensual activities. He does not eat more than required to maintain body and soul together.
He is never mad after material identity. He is respectful to all others and does not demand respect for himself. He is very grave, very compassionate, and very friendly. He is poetic. He is expert in all activities. And he is silent in nonsense. Similarly, in Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, 25th chapter, verse 21, the qualifications of a saintly person are mentioned. It is said there that a saintly person eligible to enter into the kingdom of God is very tolerant and very kind to all living entities. He is not partial. He is kind both to human beings and to animals. He is no such a fool. He is not such a fool that he will kill a goat. Narayana to feed a goat. To feed a human.
Right. Yeah, this is referring to the Kali worshippers. They will kill the goat, a goat which they consider Narayan, to feed a human Narayan.
Or Daridra Narayan.
Right, Daridra means poor, a poor person. This poor person is God. The goat is God. Let us kill this God to feed that God.
He is very kind to all living entities. Therefore, he has no enemy. He is very peaceful. These are the qualities of persons who are eligible to enter into the kingdom of God. That such a person gradually becomes liberated and enters the kingdom of God is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th Canto, 5th chapter, verse 2. The Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd Canto, 3rd chapter, verse 24, also states that if a person does not cry or exhibit bodily changes after chanting the holy name of God without offense, it is to be understood that he is hard-hearted and that therefore his heart does not change even after he chants the holy name of God. Hare Krishna. These bodily changes can take place due to ecstasy when we offensively chant the holy names of God. Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama
Rama,
Hare Hare.
Thank you, Bruce. This is an extensive purport. Prabhupada goes on to discuss the 10 offenses, which we'll read in detail if we have time. But first, talking about the good qualities. We used to have a chaplains committee at the University of Florida. I think it's completely dissolved now, more or less. Yeah, Shuti and I would take part in these are very nice, well-meaning, mode of goodness type of people, relatively speaking. They're the Methodists and the Lutherans and the Episcopalians and the Catholics and the Jews and the Mormons. They're not the Baptists. but so we would get together and talk about various issues that affected us all. One of the things that was very evident was that the attendance in these, all of them were declining. So the concept they have of good qualities and spirituality really is to do good for other people. This is the Daridra Narayan concept, very similar concept. Mana seva, madhava seva. Serving man is serving God. So during one spring break, we were going around the table, everyone was talking, what are the students in your student center doing? And so this group was we're going to Haiti where there's this hurricane, we're going to help them build houses. This one is, we're doing food relief in Central America. All the students who were pious, religious students, they were spending their spring break going out to help others, which was very laudable. And when it came our turn, we rented a bus and drove to Texas to chant Hare Krishna and take prasadam. So it was one of those moments where everyone was saying, okay, we know these guys are weird, but we tolerate them. But you see, they could not appreciate the value of what we were doing in this first canto, second chapter, there's a very important verse, famous verse, Shrinvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravanam Kirtana. So Shrinvata Swakata, to hear discussions about Krishna, is Punya Shravanam. It is in itself a pious act. Like to feed people or to build a house, that's a pious act. But to hear about Krishna is also a pious act. Punya Shravana Kirtana. And it's especially pious, an important pious act. Why? Yabhadrani, all the inauspicious things in the heart become removed. Vidunati sarit satam. Yes, the result of this pious activity is purification. It's purification. The qualities of a lady or gentleman manifest as a result of hearing and chanting about Krishna. It's a very counterintuitive result you would not expect. However, because it lifts us above the plane of self-consciousness to Krishna consciousness, the byproduct of the good qualities and purification manifest automatically. That is the amazing quality of Srimad Bhagavatam, the amazing quality of Krishna consciousness. So if somebody is here to get the good qualities, who will this fortunate person be? Oh. Hi. Prabhuji, do you have a minute? Do you want to spend a minute and introduce our friend? Okay. So, yes, the amazing effect of hearing about Krishna is that it takes us above self-consciousness. Now, we think, well, we got to watch out for ourselves. The experiences we've had in our lives, the traumas, the unfortunate events that we've suffered from, the way we were raised, all these things create scars in our lives, in our consciousness that make us think, okay, I got to look out for number one. It's nice and everything to think, okay, well, people will be nice to me or whatever. But in fact, we can't possibly shake these bad habits doing the same old thing, right? Like, in other words, everyone in this world is looking out for themselves. And we're thinking, well, I don't want to end up like everyone else in the world. I got to look out for myself. But we're doing the same thing everyone else is doing. So Krishna consciousness is truly revolutionary and truly radical because we're not looking out for ourselves. We're looking out for Krishna. And Prabhupada called this enlightened self-interest. Enlightened self-interest. Acting for our benefit, our own personal well-being, but in an intelligent way. As we all know, it was Einstein who said, the definition of insanity is to do the same thing and expect a different result. So we're doing something revolutionary and different. Like my friends and these pious religious people could not appreciate the value of that. They could not appreciate the potency of that. They could not appreciate the transformative effects as the actual purpose of these churches and these places of worship. Meant to change us, not to be a social club or not to be a sense of religious security. You could say, well, if I believe, I'll go to heaven. I do any damn thing I want, and that's fine, as long as I believe. So our Krishna conscious adventure, Prabhupada said it is not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. In other words, hearing and chanting about Krishna is very simple. It's very easy to do in and of itself. The difficult part is to sustain it, right? Just like Brahma creates Rajaguna and Shiva destroys Tamaguna. But Vishnu himself has to come to maintain. So to maintain our Krishna consciousness, to continue hearing and chanting is the challenging part. What is necessary to maintain our position in Krishna consciousness? We have to do what? Okay, we have to take care. We have to take care of our spiritual creeper, yeah. And What is the first thing mentioned that undermines the spiritual creeper? Offenses to devotees, yes. Offenses to devotees, those damn devotees. We're living with them, we're seeing them all the time, seeing all their bad qualities, all the mistakes they make. And we can't, it's just natural to think, to get annoyed with other people, right? It's natural. It's like the qualities of Kali Yuga, just the antithesis of the qualities of the devotees. What are the qualities of Kali Yuga? Mandatsu mando matayo mando bhadrita. It means lazy, unfortunate, less intelligent, right, and always disturbed. Always disturbed. Always disturbed. So in our quest to put Krishna at the center of our lives, we are blessed to be in association with other people who have that peculiar inclination. And these people, like us, have their good side and their bad side. They have their aspirational side and they have their conditioned side. So when we look for these qualities in others, we're in Krishna consciousness. When we look for the good qualities in others, even in management these days, management is evolving, management theory, business administration is evolving more and more towards personalism. Why? Because people see they get more results from people when they're treated well, as opposed to being berated or chastised or threatened. You get more results when people feel welcomed, when they feel comfortable, when they feel appreciated. So the Nectar of Devotion says that a devotee whose lips are decorated with praise for others is worshipable even by the demigods. So in management theory, they teach it like this: try to catch your people doing something right. Try to catch them doing something right. Have you ever noticed when somebody appreciates you, how good you feel? When somebody recognizes you did a good job cooking an offering or doing some cleaning, any simple service, or you made something that's beautiful and somebody tells you that's really nice. See, why not do that all the time? Why not like consciously think about, wow, when I do that, this person feels good, I feel good, Krishna must be feeling good. Krishna must like that. Okay? It's so simple. And yet it's not easy because we have the habit of getting annoyed with other people or seeing their faults. You remember the example Prabhupada gives, that the bees are attracted to the lovely, fragrant, blooming, sweet flowers, and the flies are attracted to various types of dung. Once a devotee was pointing out, Srila Prabhupada, I have noticed that the flies don't hover around cow dung the way they do the stool of other animals. And Prabhupada replied, oh, you have done research? The honey bee-like devotees are, the buzzing of the bees is so sweet. We were reading, all the birds stopped chirping because the bees in Vaikuntha are humming the glories of the Lord, and the birds all stop. So, oh, that's so nice. So when we are appreciating other devotees, we are pleasing Krishna. When we are finding fault with other devotees, we're displeasing Krishna. And it's not that Krishna is going to throw a thunderbolt at us. He's just more interested in other devotees who are appreciated. You see, we all make mistakes, and Krishna, and we tend to think, oh, I did something wrong, Krishna doesn't like me now. It's not like that. Krishna doesn't see our mistakes. He sees our potential. He sees what we could be. He sees that we could manifest these qualities of the devotees and come all the way to the point of ecstatic symptoms in bhakti. He sees that, and he recognizes that we are struggling with our conditioned life. In the what is it? The 7th chapter, Aparayam mitas tvanyam prakritim vidimekram jiva bhuta mahabaho yayedam dharyate jagat. Gita, Krishna says that aside from the material energy, there are these spiritual beings who are struggling with material energy, including their mind and senses. So he's very compassionate, and he is appreciative of all the living entities, even the non-devotees, even the goats, even the animals, even the bugs. Krishna appreciates each and every one of them. I always remember Radhanath Maharaj was praised. He said, Radhanath Maharaj can glorify an amoeba. You find the good qualities. It's a discipline. It's a Krishna conscious discipline. Let me see the good in others. One of my godbrothers said, if you want to see the good in me, you have to use an electron microscope. All right, so whatever it takes, to find out the good. And then also, even when we're being maybe corrected, criticized, chastised, the immediate response is what? Somebody criticizes us, how do we feel? Defensive, yeah, we feel defensive. And so this is like Kali Yuga in bloom. Somebody's criticizing, somebody's feeling defensive. If I'm feeling defensive, then I'm going to take the offensive and attack you. So all of these negative spirals begin by criticism. Defending is one of the 4 what? Animal propensities, right? Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. And of them, Prabhupada said, defending is the strongest urge. So this relates back to, again, our self-consciousness. We got to protect ourselves. If I don't take care of myself, no one else is going to take care of me. So it's the opposite, again, of Krishna consciousness. So this is the defending propensity manifesting in our lives very powerfully. So Krishna consciousness means we go beyond the defending propensity. We no longer feel like we have to defend our position. We know our position. It is already, like Prabhupada was once explaining Varnashram, the 4 classes of men. And one challenging student said, and what class are you? He said, I am 5th class man. I am servant of all the others. Completely shut him up. But this is the point. If we have Trinadu Pisunichina, if we're actually in a humble position, what do we have to defend? Somebody criticizes us, yeah, you're right. In fact, it's much worse than that. You don't know the slightest. Remember when the devotees started gathering for kirtan at the beginning of the Sankirtan movement, the house of Srivas Pandit, and so all the devotees would gather there, and Lord Chaitanya was rather selective who could come, because if one person came with polluted consciousness, it would bring down the whole vibe. So it was by invitation only. And so the local Brahmins, who were used to being on top of the spiritual food chain, were rather offended. So they decided to discredit Srivas, the so-called devotee of Krishna, the so-called Vaishnava. They put all the paraphernalia for Durga Puja on his front porch one morning. There was wine and other things. And he walked out, he saw all this paraphernalia, and then he said, hey, everybody, look, I'm worshiping Durga. I'm a Durga Bhakta, see? And by taking that position, everyone knew, oh, this is these envious Brahmins. You see, so like Bob Dylan put it, when you got nothing to lose. So we're not thinking about ourselves. We are just thinking about Krishna. The good qualities then manifest automatically. We don't look for them in ourselves, although when they appear, it's amazing. But we look for them in other people. And whenever we see them, let's get in the habit. Okay, hey, I caught you doing something good. Look at this good quality manifesting in you. Wow. All right. So any comments on these points? Any reflections? Okay. Prema and then Sundari. Go ahead, Prema.
Thank you for class. So, as someone, as in the position of someone receiving criticism or, feedback, it's easy to
like convince myself that I've taken that humble position and just like just to get out of it, just to be like, oh yeah, Prabhu, like Hare Krishna, like thank you for your correction. And really I'm hardening my heart. And the saying comes to mind, I live to be corrected, I live to be corrected. How do we really live, like how can we really capture that feeling in our hearts?
Right. Somebody corrects us and we say, thank you very much.
Yeah.
We say what we're supposed to say, but then we don't really feel it. So Srila Prabhupada was asked a similar question. Should we offer obeisances if we don't feel like it? And he said, yes. And then you'll feel like it. When we experience how much less mental stress there is, and we actually can take a correction, we'll gravitate towards that. Yeah, it's liberation. I'm no longer a slave to what everybody else thinks, because I know my actual position. Yeah. Anyway, this is the idea. It's doing the right thing even in the wrong consciousness. What are we conscious about? But this is what so something like that is very good to share with a mentor. I'm taking this correction, but I'm still feeling resentful in time. It's a really good question. And it's kind of quite a thing that we all experience. The main thing, in Kali Yuga, it's a blessed age in this respect, that in previous ages, if you simply thought about sinful acts, you got the karma. But in Kali Yuga, you actually have to do it. So, okay, we may be simmering about being chastised, but if we don't act on it, if we just absorb it, we're safe. And gradually it gets easier. It gets easier to the point where, like Vaisheshika Prabhu says, I live to be correct.
And we can actually like learn from it rather than reject.
Yes. And I just want to say, on the flip side of that, how we present corrections is even more important. If we model the behavior we want from others, you see. The problem is when we're corrected, our dignity is insulted. So if we learn how to correct others without insulting their dignity, hating the sin but not the sinner, asking questions, not assuming that our perception of things is right, see? Feeling free to express, then we're really free to express things too, right? If we know how to do it. I'm concerned about this thing that you're doing, or please help me understand why you're doing this. Not saying you're doing this and it's wrong. Okay. But just inquiring, just expressing, not repressing, but expressing our feelings in a non-threatening way. Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking.
Oh, I'm sorry. I call on.
Do you mind? I have to head out.
You have to head out. Do you mind, Sindri? Thank you.
I was thinking about how we have to be careful to use this only for ourselves, not for others. But, well, I'm going to correct you because you live to be corrected.
Let's all get "I live to be corrected" T-shirts, and Shruti can have a field day.
But yeah, it's just, because oftentimes that's misused where people think, yeah, I can say whatever because for Vaishnava,
right. I live to correct.
I live to correct. That's what Chaitanya said, right? He said, everybody lives to be corrected. I have to live to be corrected. Somebody got to do it. But I was also reflecting on in practical terms, this society is full of all kinds of people, and for the majority of us, we are in either Kanishta, neophyte, or Madhyama levels, and so the practical implementation of it, I just feel it is so tricky, as Prema was saying. Devotees do need a space to be able to express themselves when something is happening that they feel is not proper. At the same time, it can't be a whole whatever uproar either. There's such a fine balance of being able to express oneself. Otherwise, we have seen how things happen in the Gaudiya Math this time. I'm just reflecting. It is so. I guess I was just thinking it's not black and white. I guess when there's criticism and there's corrections and how it's done, and devotees being able to express themselves. They should be able to express themselves even if they're angry, and perhaps they should be heard actually, instead of telling them to not just criticize.
Oh, no, absolutely. That isn't the point at all. Things have to be expressed. It's just how do we express them? We learn the art of expressing them inoffensively.
Yeah, at the same time, there's so many things that happen in this world, and if someone is even expressing it perhaps not in the best way, perhaps they should still be heard.
Yeah.
There's some truth to it.
Yeah.
And unless they're totally accomplished.
Repression, Krishna himself says, what can repression accomplish? But the point is, Kali Yuga means that we don't take the time to express things thoughtfully. We just express them. Especially, Tamal Krishna Maharaj used to say, this is the disease of the Westerner. By expressing myself, my anger, I'll feel better. And we wear our heart on the sleeve, so we just express. I tell you, because my only concern is to feel better. I don't care how you feel. You see. So Vaishnava means we do care, and yet we can express ourselves. See, if we understand that we have imperfect senses, and our anger may be unjustified, we avoid just making fools out of ourselves, right? If I'm angry about, I remember once I want to say, well, it was my wife. She told me that this devotee had done something very inappropriate. And so I was angry, and so I approached this one. I said, you did this. He said, I didn't do that. And it turned out he didn't do that. She had made a mistake. I was misinformed, but I was believing my own perception of things. And so I had to just apologize. Yeah, beg forgiveness. Yes, take the dust. So the point is, if we have a little skepticism about our perception of things, that will serve us very well. And we learn, imperfect senses, illusion, mistakes, right? So let's not cheat. Hey, I got perfect senses. You made a mistake. This little humility goes a long way like that.
Yeah, and at the same time, truth should be presented pleasantly.
Yes.
But at the same time, lies can be presented pleasantly as well. So one has to take into account what's being said and what's not being said. And pleasant or unpleasant, one has to consider it more. And just from the surface level, because sometimes we just look at something, how it's being presented. Sure, that's good. But also one has to look into it. It can't just be on the surface, on superfluous levels, how things are presented.
Yeah. See, we're not obliged to take other people's positions. If we have a disagreement with somebody and we present it without offense, it doesn't mean that now I'm a doormat, whatever you say is true. It's just that I may be mistaken, but this is my perception. What do you think? And the other person may express that completely different view. I mean, look at politics today, right? Politics today has never been more polarized than my lifetime. And people get together at Thanksgiving, and this one voted for Trump, and this one voted for Harris, and they don't talk about it. If they do, it gets a big argument. So, again, I don't want to go over time here, but this is a refined practice for devotees to be able to say, I have this perception. What is yours? That's all. And that we're both seeking the truth. Here is my perception. What is yours? Just to have that humility, and at no point does it mean, oh, okay, whatever you say must be true because I don't. The truth comes out by this kind of open discussion. Remember, has anyone taken the hermeneutics course from Irma? You remember this? I think it's called Jata, right? Vada, a meaningful conversation where both parties are approaching it open-mindedly. And if the other person's not open-minded, we still have to be open-minded. And even if they don't change their position, we don't necessarily have to agree with them. But we do have to do is be able to approach the dialogue with humility and with an open mind. Okay, last point from Sundari Leela, who's patiently waiting. Okay.
Well, I want to first share a thought that came up. There's a verse in the Bhagavad Gita that says, a sadhu does not disturb somebody's peace or their mind.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And that really hits because
if we're not even a friend to them first, and we're trying to shiksha them, they're not going to accept it, and we're just disturbing them. Like they're like, who are you? So I've done that myself. So just a reminder. But what I wanted to share is thank you so much for the class. When you were speaking, especially about the point of criticism, it really resonated a lot with me. But at the same time, I had a question in my mind, and I did a little research, which is the English word criticism itself. Is it so accurate in our interpretation? Because in one way, being critical is not a bad thing, which what I found is first in English, the word comes from Latin, which means criticus, which means fit for deciding or capable of judging. Actually, the root word came from a culture where discernment and intelligence was very important. But throughout the history, it changed its meaning. And then in Sanskrit, the word ninda, which is translated as criticism, actually means blame or censure. And that is the actual criticism we're talking about.
Yes.
But there's also another word, which is alojana, which means also criticism in English. But actually that word means evaluation.
Fascinating.
And discernment.
Very interesting.
And if we don't have discernment when we are perceiving others, then we will never know what we actually should be doing. And if we're not being critical in situations where it's not right, then we would never situate ourselves in the right position. So I think there should be some distinguishing happening there.
Yes, thank you. That's English is a mutt language comprised from many different languages. And one of the beauties is you can turn a noun into a verb. So would you like me to siksha you? Or an adjective? The point is discernment is part of spirituality, absolutely. And we tend to be lawyers for ourselves and juries for others. Sorry, no, judges for others, that's it, yeah. Lawyers for ourselves and judges for others. For ourselves, we say, well, I didn't do brother, you see. And so can we apply discernment to our own behavior, to our own mental approach? You see, can we turn the camera within? This is the Gita uses this phrase, introspective stage. Can we examine our own heart, our own behavior, and apply discernment there? It's easy to apply discernment outside. Can we turn it around and apply it inside? See? And again, yes, critical thinking is a very prized thing, but critical behavior is a very inappropriate thing in the association of devotees. But critical thinking means we can modify our behavior. We're actually critically thinking about, wow, I'm really judging people, as opposed to, wow, I'm appreciating people, you see. That is within our power. And that's what we learned from Srimad Bhagavatam. All right, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hari Bol. Prasade Govinde Namo Brahmani Vaishnav.